of your lifestyle. And so dōTERRA has created an easy-to-follow wellness path with products to support you at any point in your journey. And I'm here today to help guide you on your way. So today, I want to talk for just a minute or two about how all the new products fit into this framework, and then highlight just a couple of the products and how they, along with lifestyle, help us in our journey of wellness. So first, let's talk about some of the easier ones. Who loves the Supermint toothpaste? This amazing new toothpaste fits easily into our reduced toxicity part of the wellness pyramid. It offers a toothpaste that is safe for our children to swallow. Now, so many toothpastes on the market today have right on their label, "Do not swallow." My wife and I have 5 kids. Try telling your kids not to swallow the toothpaste, right? So that tells you that ingestion of that product can build up toxicity in the system. Our toothpaste does not require that label because we have not included in it the toxins that others do. Blue Lotus Touch. I love this product. Blue Lotus is a precious oil that comes from a spectacular blue flower found in China. I was talking with Laura Jacobs earlier this year about this product, and I love what she taught me about it. Blue Lotus is the oil of emerging. It grows in the mud of ponds in Egypt and parts of Asia, and its roots are down in the mud and grime. But then it grows these beautiful green lily pads. Once it has done enough photosynthesis and has enough energy, the blue flower finally emerges, reaching up towards the sun. Has anyone felt like that? Have you ever felt down in the mud, under the water, unseen? Remember this plant and its beautiful blue flower. Use this oil to emerge, make changes, become who you were meant to become. Let it help you create those lily pads that give you energy from the environment around you. Let it help you show the world the beauty that is inside of you. So I would put this oil in the rest and manage stress category. Serenity products. We all know how important restful sleep is. We understand, as Dr. O has taught us today, we need 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and that a bedtime routine nightly can help our brains transition from daytime alertness to nighttime slumber. So the new Serenity Soft Gels and the very convenient Serenity Stick really fits well into our rest and manage stress part of that wellness pyramid. Later today, you'll hear, again from my friend Laura Jacobs, give us a deep dive into how we can use these products to help us in that rest portion. I'll tell you, I've been using the Serenity Stick for the last 2 months, and I have fallen in love with this product. It is amazing. So tonight, you all are going to use this because you bought your convention kits, and tomorrow you're going to be so full of energy because you've slept so well. Now, birch. Emily has taught us so much about birch. It's an amazing story that dōTERRA, being the first and only company to have a natural birch oil. Remember what Emily taught us this morning. Both birch and wintergreen are primarily one chemical constituent, methyl salicylate. But birch is actually higher in aldehydes and phenols, whereas wintergreen is higher in terpenes, and there is a difference in those chemistries. There's power in that difference. We also are all different physiologically. We may find that birch oil works better for us than does wintergreen, or vice versa. This oil gives that warming sensation to the skin. It's helpful when we're feeling stiff or having joint discomfort. As we move more, we may become aware of areas of the body that are responding to that movement in ways we just don't enjoy as much. And birch can help support those tissues in recovery. So I would place birch in the movement section of that wellness pyramid. Next, we have our probiome products of the PB Restore and the PB Assist sticks. Let's talk about the microbiome just a little bit more. Every aspect of the wellness pyramid actually affects our microbiome. We make little decisions every day that can either disrupt or support our body's microbiome. The microbiome is the foundation for systemic health and wellness. It supports every pillar of the wellness pyramid, and every pillar of the wellness pyramid supports the microbiome. So notice, it's this kind of relationship of back and forth. So we've talked a lot about the microbiome. So what is the microbiome? It can be defined in this way. A microbiome is a community of microorganisms that can usually be found living together in any given habitat. In other words, in more scientific ideas, it is a characteristic microbial community occupying a defined habitat which has distinct physiochemical properties. Now, we can define these habitats into a few groups: gastrointestinal or gut, oral or mouth microbiome, respiratory microbiome, skin or dermal microbiome, and then female reproductive tract microbiome. So let's start at the bottom of the wellness pyramid and talk about how each level can affect this microbiome. Nutrition and digestion. Diet plays a large role in determining what kinds of microorganisms live in the colon. A high fiber diet in particular affects the type and amount of microbes in the intestine. In fact, in healthy humans, a high-fat, high-protein diet or a low-fat diet leads to reduced gut microbe diversity in as quickly as 1 day. Researchers say that consuming too much fast food and other unhealthy foods can harm your gut microbiome. Now, I know we all believe this, we understand this, but there was recently a Time magazine article in 2015, and Professor Tim Spector stated the following. He asked his college-age son to eat fast food for 10 days. Now, if any of you have college-age children, that's not a hard ask, right? So this son could only eat hamburgers, fries, Coke, or chicken nuggets. Every meal, 10 days. In just 10 days, he lost 40% of the diversity of his microbiome of the GI tract. That's about 1,400 different types of bacteria that were gone. Let's move to movement. Recent studies suggest that exercise can enhance the number of beneficial microbial species, enrich the microflora diversity, and improve the development of commensal bacteria that are good for you. Exercise is able to enrich that diversity to improve the Bacteroides firmicutes ratio, which could potentially contribute to reducing weight. No one's sad about that. Thank you. Physical activity may help flush bacteria out of the lungs and airways as well. A 2021 article in the Frontiers magazine said moderate exercise has positive effects on the health of average athletes, such as reduction in inflammation and intestinal permeability and an improvement in body composition. It also induces positive changes in the gut microbial composition and in the metabolites that are produced in the gastrointestinal tract. The next one we would talk about is metabolism. We're in that movement and metabolism area of the wellness pyramid. Microbes can impact overall metabolism as energy regulators, impact blood sugar metabolism, and insulin sensitivity. Considering the microbiome's ability to respond to homeostatic and physiological changes, some researchers propose it can be seen as a silent endocrine organ. Sleep. Studies suggest that a lack of sleep is linked to a reduction in healthy microbes in your gut. An unhealthy microbiome may also have negative effects on the sleep, So if you're not sleeping, it affects your gut, and if you have an unhealthy gut, it makes you not sleep. So the total microbiome diversity played a role in increased sleep efficiency and total sleep time. Certain types of bacteria may also be linked to better sleep. We all now know that this is where our Serenity line can help. Tomorrow you're going to hear some incredible data from Dr. Nicole Stevens about our sleep products. So please, general session tomorrow, pay attention to her talk. It'll be amazing. Intestinal microbes directly or indirectly participate in the production of melatonin. On the one hand, microbial metabolism produces melatonin directly. And then on the other hand, gut bacteria indirectly produce short-chain fatty acids that stimulate the production of serotonin, which is then converted into melatonin. Stress. Research suggests that stress not only alters our intestinal mucosal permeability, but also may significantly change the community structure and activity of the commensal microbes in the gut. In turn, GI microbiome may influence stress-related physiological responses. So physiological stress can promote consumption of highly palatable foods. Y'all know what I mean, right? Stuff that tastes good when we're stressed, which then influences which gut bacteria thrive. Additionally, stress can reshape the gut bacteria's composition through stress hormones, trigger an inflammatory response, and autonomic alterations. In turn, the gut bacteria releases metabolites, toxins, and neurohormones that can alter eating behavior and even our mood. Stress can lead to changes in both the numbers, or abundance, and types, or diversity, of the bacteria. High cortisol levels can also disrupt your GI tract and throw off the balance between the beneficial and harmful bacteria that live in the digestive tract. So now let's move to reduced toxicity. The products we use daily impact our microbiome from our mouths, skin, and internal microbes. Our On Guard mouthwash is actually water-based rather than alcohol-based. In this way, we better support our oral microbiome, which then also brings us to hand sanitizer. Let's have a real conversation about this. Is hand sanitizer bad? It can be, can't it? Yeah. Just like everything, the dose makes the poison. You've heard me talk about this concept before. Okay, if we're constantly sterilizing our hands, we destroy the healthy microbiome of the skin, leaving it open for pathogenic microbes to come and begin growing there. Hand sanitizer can be used when we have nothing else to take care of our hands, and often I see parents sterilizing their kids' hands over and over and over again throughout the day. Now, while sterilization of our hands is sometimes needed, regular soap and water does the job of cleaning with little effect of the microbes of the skin. Disruption of the microbiome by environmental toxins prevent gut microbes from performing their important functions and has serious consequences for our health. Your body's internal environment can affect the way your gut microbiome responds. Environmental pollutants can alter the composition of your gut microbiome, leading to a range of disorders that affect energy metabolism, nutrient absorption, and our immune system function. To summarize, exposure to xenobiotics such as heavy metals and artificial sweeteners induces gut microbiome toxicity. We must avoid those things. So, PB Restore. This product belongs at the base of our wellness pyramid in nutrition and digestion category. The PB Restore product has 18 billion colony-forming units of probiotics, along with prebiotics and postbiotics that Alex DeBell taught us today. Remember that this product has an extended release capsule inside the outer capsule to protect it from the harsh acidic environment of the stomach. The outer capsule releases in the stomach to release the prebiotic fiber, which essentially creates the environment and food for the microbes to live off of and live on. It creates a food source and a fiber bolus, which allows the probiotic to adhere to that as it travels through the GI tract. The PB Restore is formulated to help with the microbiome found in the gut, the skin, the oral cavity, the respiratory tract, and the female reproductive tract. The PB Assist Plus, those sticks, are formulated with microbes from the gut microbiome. When addressing overall microbiome support, use the PB Restore. When addressing just the gut microbiome or targeted concerns, the PB Assist stick should be your choice. But remember, you can use both because they have different strains within them. Now let's move on to one of my absolute favorite products, Shinrin-yoku. Thank you. This blend fits neatly into our rest and manage stress level of the wellness pyramid. As a child, my family spent a lot of time outdoors. It didn't matter whether it was the ocean, the desert, or the mountains. My parents made sure that we were exposed to nature. Through many of those hours spent outside, I grew to love the forest. It is the place that I would call home. I felt most complete when I was in the forest. Humans have existed for thousands of years. Through most of this time, we spent a great deal of our time in nature. We evolved in natural surroundings. Cities have only been a recent invention caused by the industrial age. As a matter of fact, in 1800, only 3% of the population of the world lived in a city. By 2016, that percentage had grown to 54%, and by 2050, it's projected that 66% of the global population will live in cities. Even more concerning is that studies sponsored by the Environmental Protection Agency reveal that the average American spends 93% of their time indoors. Andrew O'Hare mentioned this earlier. That study was done in 1992. In today's world, where urbanization and indoor lifestyles prevail, our connection with the natural world has become very distant. The term Shinrin-yoku, coined by the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries in 1982, refers to the act of immersing oneself in the atmosphere of the forest, connecting with its essence. Now, this form of ecotherapy quickly gained popularity in Japan. In the 1990s, researchers began scientifically studying the physiological benefits of forest bathing, confirming what we intuitively already know. Spending time in nature is beneficial for our well-being. While living conditions have drastically changed in 200 years, genes take far longer to adapt. Because we're living in more urban areas and our genes are adapted to living in nature, we are physiologically at odds with our environment through most of our day. Sympathetic nervous systems are frequently overstimulated, and many people commonly deal with high stress levels. This has become normal for us as we engage in our busy lives and live in concrete jungles full of stimulus. All of our physiological functions evolved in a natural environment. This explains why when we come into contact with nature, we intuitively just relax. We feel home. The stress-reducing practice of forest bathing has been found to have profound effects on our health. Moreover, research reveals that even as little as 10 to 20 minutes spent outdoors each day can lead to increased happiness and well-being. Nature has the power to nourish our souls and enhance our overall quality of life. Now, Shinrin-yoku is a very simple activity. It consists of 3 parts. Number 1, disengagement from your daily routine. Number 2, deep breathing and nature connection through a series of quiet activities or invitations. And number 3, transitioning back to your daily life. So first, find some area of untouched nature to spend some time in. You may find a favorite tree, stream, or waterfall. What's important is to find a place where you can immerse yourself and connect to nature. This place should be some place that is close enough that you can visit frequently. Next, connect with nature through some quiet activities. Begin by taking a few slow, deep breaths and simply observing the wonder around you. Try to see nature through the eyes of a child, where everything is an interesting, beautiful miracle. With this fresh perspective, you can see the amazing patterns in tree bark, observe the activity of ants on the ground, or hear water in a nearby stream. You can engage all your senses in this part of forest bathing. Listen intently for various bird songs, the sound of moving water, or the wind shuffling through the forest canopy. You can watch the treetops moving with the shifting breeze, or birds flying from tree to tree. Touching your natural environment can be a profound experience for you. You can stop to feel the dirt that the plants are growing in. Experience the damp richness of the soil. Feel the coolness of the stream as it flows by. Henry David Thoreau once said, "I frequently tramped 8 or 10 miles through the deepest snow to keep an appointment with a beech tree, or a yellow birch, or an old acquaintance among the pines." Use your own intuition to find your tree, one that speaks to you or has features that you relate to. It may be a young tree that's just starting its life. It may be an old, scarred, and twisted tree that's become strong through its years of difficult wind, storms, and snow. Let the forest speak to you through your heart, mind, and all your senses. The poet Matsuo Basho said, "Not knowing the name of the tree, I stood in the flood of its sweet scent." Finally, you'll slowly transition back to life. You may be reluctant to leave the forest, as I often am, and get back to normal life. But the point of Shinrin-yoku is to have that time with nature change you. You can help facilitate that change by asking yourself questions. What will you bring back to the world from this experience? What has this time with nature taught you? And how can you be more like that tree, deeply rooted and firm, yet flexible to the winds around you? So what if your schedule doesn't allow you to spend as much time in the forest as you'd like? I would love to spend 2 to 4 hours a day there, right? So researchers developed a study to determine if nature and its benefits could be brought indoors. By sampling forest air, researchers discovered that the trees released chemicals called phytoncides into the atmosphere. These chemicals mainly consisted of limonene, alpha-pinene, beta-pinene, linalool, amongst others. Names we're all familiar with, right? The researchers then had participants sleep in a hotel room while diffusing essential oils containing these phytoncides. And they were tested alongside those who'd participated in a forest bathing experience to see if there were differences or similarities. Over the 3 days, the study participants experienced the same benefits as those who'd actually participated in Shinrin-yoku. dōTERRA, I know, I'm super excited about this as well. dōTERRA has developed a blend of CPTG, certified pure, tested grade essential oils that contain these same phytoncides found in the forest air. Shinrin-yoku Forest Bathing Blend brings the rejuvenating essence of lush forests right into your home. Crafted with utmost care, Shinrin-yoku harmoniously blends distilled lemon, magnolia leaf, patchouli, Siberian fir, cypress, hinoki, grapefruit, lavandin, cardamom, geranium, and lemon petitgrain. Now, I mentioned the science, and we've used the science of these phytoncides found in the forest air to create a blend with those same chemical constituents. Now, let me share with you, which I'm super excited about, our own internal pilot study that we did. So I sit on the scientific research committee with Dr. Nicole Stevens, Alex DeBell, Dr. OSGUTHORPE, and we're kind of nerdy, and we like to study on ourselves sometimes. So this is a study on us, okay? We had 6 healthy participants, diffused the blend for 8 hours each night for 6 consecutive nights. Participants were then tested for cortisol levels, natural killer cell counts and function, and cytokine levels. So number 1, overall findings indicate that after 1 night of diffusion, average cortisol levels were significantly lower than baseline. Number 2, after 3 nights of diffusion, average cortisol levels were still significantly lower than our baseline. Number 3, several participants showed positive changes in biomarkers related to a healthy inflammatory response. Number 4, several participants showed increased natural killer cell count and function, indicating positive effects on the immune system that may be statistically significant if we were to have a larger sample size. Number 5, overall blood pressure readings in the morning following Shinrin-yoku were decreased compared to control and approached statistical significance. So for the size of this small pilot study of just 6 of us, these are amazing results. And as a group of scientists, we are very optimistic that in a larger study, continued a little longer, statistical significance may be reached in every endpoint that we tested. So, since I was a part of the study, and it's not a violation of HIPAA to share with you my own data, I want to show my own data on diffusing this blend. So I, as a relatively healthy individual, was involved in the study. So I found this data fascinating. Number 1, my systolic blood pressure fell 30 points from the beginning of the study to the end. My diastolic blood pressure fell 24 points from the beginning of the study to the end. And my pulse dropped 10 points. My morning cortisol levels fell from 23.9 down to 14.5 at the end of the study. So that's a 40% drop in cortisol level in 1 week. Remember that cortisol levels are a stress hormone. My lymphocyte count increased from 2,870 up to 3,347. That's a 15% increase in lymphocytes. My natural killer cell count increased from 253 up to 402. That means that my natural killer cells increased by 59% in the week that I diffused the Shinrin-yoku blend nightly. So I now have data showing that when I diffuse this blend, I affect not only my immune system, but also my cortisol levels as a marker of stress and my blood pressure and pulse. Now, it's kind of interesting. We read the data all the time, but when we do it on ourselves and we see the results on ourselves, we're like, oh my gosh, look what this does. This is so cool. And that was kind of my response with this one. Now, of course, I would love to spend 2 to 4 hours a day in the forest, breathing the mountain air and spending time in the wonder of nature. But my schedule just doesn't permit that. However, I can diffuse this oil every night while I sleep to attain the benefits seen in this study. Based on these studies, And from our expertise, we have created this Shinrin-yoku blend. This blend was created by Dr. David Hill. I got to spend some time with him as he created this blend, and it was so impressive to see this master at work. It has immediately become my favorite blend. Not only because of the amazing aroma, but also because of the science behind it. The aroma is very complex. I actually have it on my wrist right now. I find that when I first smell the blend, I smell that foundational piece of patchouli. This is the aroma that gives all the others an opportunity to build and shine. The next aroma that I smell after a few minutes of putting it on my skin is the lemon and grapefruit. I can smell the limonene and the sunshine in these oils. After a few minutes, I begin to smell the forest of hinoki, cypress, and Siberian fir oils. Now this brings me home in my soul. And then lastly, I smell the leaf of magnolia and lavender in this beautiful blend. It finishes off nice and smooth. So if you scan this QR code up here, you can access all of dōTERRA's education courses. And tomorrow, our Shinrin-yoku education course will go live. So within this course, you can download also a new Shinrin-yoku ebook. And also the course includes a 10-minute guided visualization that you can use in addition to diffusing the Shinrin-yoku blend for a powerful, grounding, and relaxing experience. You will also find courses on the Serenity products and the microbiome. So I would like to finish here with my favorite poem that I often contemplate in my own forest bathing experiences as I spend time in the mountains of Utah. It's called Good Timber by Douglas Mallock. The tree that never had to fight for sun and sky and air and light, but stood out in the open plain and always got its share of rain, never became a forest king, but lived and died a scrubby thing. The man who never had to toil to gain and farm his patch of soil, who never had to win his share of sun and sky and light and air, never became a manly man, but lived and died as he began. Good timber does not grow with ease. The stronger wind, the stronger trees. The further sky, the greater length. The more the storm, the more the strength. By sun and cold, by rain and snow, in trees and men, good timbers grow. Where thickest lies the forest growth, we find the patriarchs of both, and they hold counsel with the stars, whose broken branches show the scars of many winds and much of strife. This is the common law of life. Thank you, my friends. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight.